Hi everyone, my name is Samantha Hobie, and I'm going to be kind of just speed painting a self-portrait. So right now I am picking out a brush, and I'm going to test the brush a few times, kind of see which brush I want to sketch with. Also, if you hear kiddos in the background, those are my kids. Yeah, there's no such thing as time alone. So I've picked a portrait of myself that I'm going to be painting, and I prefer to use loose painting styles for fast sketches. So here I'm just getting the proportions down, kind of placement of different features and the shape of my face on here. As you can see, I know that this is a little wide. It's not a big deal. I can go fix it later. That's the beauty of having digital art, is you can fix everything later. So I just get the gist down, kind of sketch it out. Yeah. Oh, the kids are watching the PJ Masks in the background. So then now I'm going to take it a little bit darker and kind of go in with the heavier shadowed areas, and I'm just slowly kind of building in shading little by little. I've got my frame in there, and then I'm going to slowly add in some shading. So kind of define my teeth, the edges of my mouth. And here I just kind of played with the shape of the mouth because I kind of had gotten that skewed a little bit. Adding some more details. One of my favorite things about painting is that you can just kind of like slowly arrive at your destination. I know that sounds weird, but like you get kind of a loose sketch, and then you just slowly bring your lines closer and closer to where they need to be, and they slowly get heavier and heavier until they're just right. And it just kind of feels like the painting is out of focus and is slowly getting more and more in focus as you go. Yeah, that's kind of how I see it. So now I'm picking a different brush. And this is, the video is sped up significantly. I'm recording my voice onto this after I've painted this, so I didn't actually paint this fast, in case you couldn't tell. I think this took me about an hour overall to paint, so yeah. And it's that sketchy kind of loose style that I really like. I do most of my work in this style, but for some reason I lack confidence in it, and I feel like because it's not really refined and crisp, that people won't like it, and so I don't usually publish my work when it's this type of work, although this is my favorite by far. Okay, so I was just saving. I learned don't forget to save frequently, especially when you've got kids. My daughter's been turning off my computer mid-drawing and mid-work the last few days because she's fascinated with the power button and because it lights up. And so naturally, that's what she wants to do. She wants to play with that. So anyway, so here I am kind of evaluating, what I've got going on here, and what I need to work on most. And now I'm gonna take and use the eraser, and I've turned the opacity of the eraser down and the flow so that it's a really light highlight, and it's not so harsh. And I'm kind of erasing some of the harsher sketch lines, but also the points where I've gotten too much shading in there. I really like your ability to change how much you erase in digital art. I'm going to go in and define some of the harsher lines on my face. I realized that my teeth are not long enough. We'll fix that. No worries. I took this picture. It was a selfie I took back in 2014, I think, or 2013. Before I had Logan. I was heavily pregnant with my son in this picture. And I remember that my hair had grown so much because I was pregnant that it was crazy. And so I took a picture, and I think I was sending this picture to my mom to show her how much my hair had grown. So now I'm just kind of fleshing out a few more details. I didn't take this photo, or this picture, I didn't take this painting all the way to completion. I could have refined it until it was highly realistic, but I chose not to. I chose to leave a stylistic looseness to it. And I was very satisfied with how it turned out at the end, so despite the looseness of it. So now I'm just defining the edges a bit more, adding some more depth, kind of bringing it together, shading in the hair. And what I do with this is I paint over with one color, and then I pick a darker color and lower the opacity and the flow, and then I go in with it, and I lower the size. And so I start off with a big brush, and then I come in with a darker color and a smaller brush and less opacity, on and on. And I just keep coming in with more of that. And then here I'm just bringing in a smaller brush with some highlight, bring it back through because I over darkened it a little bit. And then now I'm adding some fine lines in here to make it look more like hair. And once I ended up cleaning up, I used the eraser here to kind of clean up the edges and make them nicer looking. But once I did that, it made my hair a bit shorter than it was in the photo, but I didn't really mind. I could have fixed it, but I chose not to. Refining some of the edges here, making it a little bit more detailed. Now I'm going to color in my shirt, add some depth to the shirt here. And I did lose a bit of the hair length again when I shaded in the shirt. Now I'm just going to reshape. Like I said, it was okay that I kind of had a little bit of the wrong shape on my face going on there, because the beautiful thing about Photoshop is you can adjust things like this with the liquify tool. It took me forever to figure out that there was a liquify tool and how to use it. I would watch videos of people photoshopping things and tried to figure out what tool they were using to do that, and I couldn't figure it out. And then eventually a friend of mine who, I've actually never met her, but she is the coolest thing ever. She's a fabulous photographer, and I asked her, I said, so what are you doing right there, because I need to learn that. And she said, oh, that's the liquify. I love liquify. And I was like, oh, that's awesome. And it was just on one of her photography pieces that she was doing it on, but I needed it for my art. So so here I finished what I was doing. My painting is done. I'm just going to add my signature to it, and usually I would just sign it, but I was just playing around with different fonts and kind of thinking, what if I had like a logo that I had watermarked on all my paintings? I think that would be a cool idea, but I don't think I ended up not being satisfied with it on this. And if you are on my Facebook, then you know that I did not end up going with this rendition as my profile photo. I ended up switching up the colors a little bit so it was a little more purple, and all I did was I just changed the hue and saturation a bit, and that was it, so that I had a little more purple going on, because that felt like what I wanted on my profile photo, and that was exclusively for the profile photo. That wasn't, you know, necessarily for the piece itself. That was just because that's what I wanted for Facebook. Yeah, that was my piece. That's me. Hi, me. As you can see, there are a little bit of differences here. I could have lengthened my face just a tad and tilted it to the right slightly, so the top of my head was angled to the right a little bit. But otherwise, that's my self-portrait. Thanks for watching, everyone. My music is from bensound.com, and I appreciate you coming.